Okay, so what I'm about to tell you will increase your testosterone better than sleep does. Yeah. And if you don't know, sleep is the best way to improve testosterone in the modern day. But the thing is that one night of bad sleep reduces your testosterone by 15%. Your T levels will tank by 15% only after one night of bad sleep. That means if I have 500 nanograms per deciliter of T right now, after a night of bad sleep, it will be at 430 nanograms per deciliter. Yeah. So, what I'm gonna tell you in this video will triple, double, maybe even quadruple your T levels. Okay, so the the first step one of increasing your testosterone is to take less stress. Yeah, stress. So, stress in scientific terms is called cortisol, the cortisol hormone. So, cortisol is inversely related to testosterone. That means the higher your cortisol is, the lower your T will be. And the higher your T is, the lower your cortisol will be. Actually, breathing deep and breathing through your nose has been proven to decrease cortisol. Nasal breathing and breathing deeply to your balls has been proven to reduce cortisol. There's actually this breathing exercise which, if you follow in the morning, evening, and night, it will increase your testosterone by 50%. 50%. Can you imagine that? Just a mere breathing exercise will boost your T levels by 50%. And so Hamza has actually made a video on that. It's like a 10-minute breathing exercise. Just go do it right now after you watch this video. It'll be somewhere here, like up there, like a card popping up as a card. Yeah, so stress less. That's like the first step to increasing your T. Your second step, sunlight. You probably haven't been getting sufficient sunlight if you sit at home and play video games every day. And mainly people in the Western countries, even in the Eastern countries at this point, don't get enough sunlight. And so all you need to do is get 30 minutes of sunlight 3 times a day, 3 times a week. What am I saying? 30 minutes of sunlight 3 times a week, and that will already increase your T by. I think sunlight will increase your T gradually, but it will give you a bigger ROI, a bigger return on investment than the stress thing will, even though both are good. So, mostly when it comes to sunlight, people are like, oh my god, it's cloudy today, and I probably won't get any sunlight. But what you don't know is that if it is in night, if it is in pitch black, if the time is in between 6 to 6:30 a.m. to 7 to 7:30 p.m., it's midday, you're gonna get your sunlight in. And the lesser clothes you have on, like if you're only in shorts, if you don't have like a t-shirt on, it's even better. So yeah, keep sunlight in mind. Sunlight also increases T by a lot. Now the third step, the third thing, the third action you need to take to increase, to absolutely skyrocket your T levels, is cut plastic out. In the modern day, plastic is your main enemy, especially BPA. So BPA is bisphenol A, which is mainly found in plastic. It's this chemical which is found in plastic, and BPA is a endocrine disruptor. You must have studied it in school. Endocrine glands. So an endocrine gland is basically a ductless gland, and a ductless gland is, for example, your testes, which secrete testosterone. And BPA being an endocrine disruptor means that it actively kills your T levels. Now, you may be taking this lightly, so I'm gonna give you an example like this study which was conducted by this scientist on Japanese fish. So basically, this study conducted on Japanese fish had like two parts, not two parts, but I'll explain it to you. So there was this tank of fish, and so this fish tank was divided into half. So half of these fish were put into another tank. Let one tank be tank one and the other be tank two. So the fish in tank one were put in highly concentrated amounts of BPA water. The water was contaminated highly. It was highly concentrated with BPA, and the second tank was left as it is. Nothing was done to it. So this experiment was conducted for 7 days. And what do you think happened after the 7 days? So at first nothing happened, but when it was time to have children, eventually when it was time to have children, the fish who were in tank one, the fish who were in tank one had 50% less babies than the fish who were in tank two. Just saying, tank two was a controlled environment. There was no BPA, there were no chemicals mixed in their water. And it doesn't end there. Tank one's children were 50% infertile when it was their time to give babies. And then those children, the children of those fish which were 50% infertile, were completely infertile. So the first generation, the generation which was originally affected, had 50% less children, and the second generation was 50% infertile, and the third generation was almost completely infertile. And just saying, everything that us humans have, almost everything has plastic in it. Almost everything. Your water bottles have plastic in it. Even your completely metal water bottles have plastic in it. Your clothes have plastic in them. Your nylon clothes, the clothes which are stretchy, have plastic in them. And your pans, your kitchen pans, the pans you cook food with, the pans you cook eggs with, the Teflon ones, the stainless ones, have plastic in them. Only the cast iron pans are safe. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it.